This week on The Upside, Biden shocks the nation with tyrannical mandates, and more than half of U.S. states vow to fight back. Sheriffs and business owners draw a line in the sand, and a major pop star breaks her silence. Massive protests continue throughout the world as patriots become more united by the day. The Great Awakening is real, and it's happening right before our eyes. Join me for an update on today's show. Welcome to The Upside with Man in America. I'm your host, Seth Holhouse. So for those of you who are joining me on YouTube and other social media, this is probably your first time watching The Upside. So this is a brand new show I'm producing for Rise TV, where I focus on the good things that are happening all around us. There's a few of them, trust me. Now, you know there are a lot of topics I can't talk about on here, like vaccines and the election. So I'll be covering those topics exclusively on Rise TV. I also do 2 more live shows, completely uncensored, on Rise TV every week. So grab your free trial to Rise TV by clicking the link below. All right, let's get started. So from the debacle in Afghanistan to inflation to the crisis on the border, all eyes are on Biden's failing regime. So what better way to divert attention and send everyone scrambling than to announce a nationwide vaccine mandate? And just like that, hundreds of thousands of unvaccinated, undocumented, illegal immigrants pouring into our country, skyrocketing gas and food prices, and the abandonment of our U.S. citizens in the Middle East have all but disappeared. While the state wraps its tentacles around the private sector in a fascist crusade that Mussolini could have only dreamed of. But there's a problem, and I'm pretty sure Biden and Xi Jinping aren't going to like it. Because this isn't Italy in the 30s, it isn't Russia in the 20s, and it certainly isn't China in 2021. This is America, and in America, we are bound by a sacred promise known as the Declaration of Independence and a constitution to fulfill that promise, that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And every elected official, from federal to state and county levels, has sworn an oath to uphold this Constitution and to defend these rights, especially when a government's trampling on them. And after Biden's new mandates, which are the most radical case of government overreach in U.S. history, more and more officials are upholding the Constitution and fulfilling their oaths. Officials from 27 states have condemned Biden's mandates and declared their refusal to comply, and many are threatening legal action. South Carolina's Governor Henry McMaster tweeted, "The American dream has turned into a nightmare under President Biden and the radical Democrats. Rest assured, we will fight them to the gates of hell." Could he be talking about Bill Gates by any chance? Just joking. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves described Biden's unconstitutional move as terrifying. He said, "This is still America, and we still believe in freedom from tyrants." Indiana's Attorney General also weighed in, saying, "Biden's decision to demand American workers get vaccinated or risk losing their jobs is what one would expect of dictators in a banana republic. In Indiana, we do not rule by fiat, and I will not allow the president to destroy our guaranteed freedoms and our economy at the same time." And one of the strongest opponents to Biden's mandates, as you'd expect, was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Watch.
Many thousands of jobs. I'm standing for them. We're going to protect their jobs against federal overreach. And this is a guy who criticizes the state of Florida for protecting parents' rights. He says school boards should be able to eliminate parents' rights and force 5-year-old kids to wear masks all day. That's what he thinks is appropriate government. Yet, here he comes from Washington, D.C., instituting an unprecedented mandate, which even his own people have acknowledged in the past is not constitutional. That's not leadership. And I think the problem I have with Joe Biden more than anything, this guy doesn't take responsibility for anything. He's always trying to blame other people, blame other states. This is a guy that promised when he ran for president that he would shut down the virus. If you look now, there's 300% more cases in this country today than a year ago when we had no vaccines at all. So his policies are not working. He's doubling down on things that are going to be very destructive for the livelihoods of many, many Americans, and obviously going to be destructive to our constitutional system and the rule of law. And so these are times when you believe in that Constitution, you got to stand up. And obviously,
this guy's a rock star. And the pushback isn't just happening at the state level, but at the county level too. See, the beautiful thing about America is that our forefathers made sure to keep as much power out of the hands of the federal government as possible. So your county sheriff actually has more power than the governor and even the president. And what's incredible is that we're seeing sheriffs around the nation really stepping into their power and refusing to comply with these unconstitutional mandates.
As far as I'm concerned, I will not mandate a vaccine for our employees. We will not make it mandatory for any new employee to be vaccinated or our current ones. I believe that that's a very, very personal choice that you need to make the decision. We can't get over the fact, these are not political things, you can't get over the fact that they initially said 2 weeks. Our entire mission was flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Then it went to a month. Then it went to 2 months, 4 months, 6 months. Then it went to, well, the curve is flat, but we're still going to have all of these things in place. And then the vaccine came out.
Check out this letter that Sheriff Bo Stallman wrote to all of his staff in Texas. He wrote, "We swore to protect and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and the state of Texas against all enemies, foreign and domestic. On 9/11, we experienced the foreign enemy. Today, we have a domestic enemy, the potential of a tyrannical, overreaching government that threatens to violate the constitutional right of our citizens." Wow, this is how we get things done in America. Sheriff Chris Brown of Arkansas wrote a similar letter to his staff stating, "As law enforcement officers, our first duty and what we swear an oath to is to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Arkansas. It is in that defense and the defense of individual liberty that the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office has not and will not mandate the COVID vaccine for any of our employees." He also quoted C.S. Lewis stating, "Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own goodwill torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience." How powerful is that quote? And could it be any more relevant? Thank you so much to these brave sheriffs for following your conscience and protecting our freedoms and our Constitution. But think about it. How much power does a mandate truly have if even sheriffs won't enforce it? And we know that a lot of police and the military won't get the jab either, let alone force it on others. So regardless of Biden's huffing and puffing, remember, you still have a choice. A mandate isn't a law. And even though these mandates are coming from the federal government, it's business owners who are being made to enforce them. But what kind of business wants to be responsible for violating people's medical freedom or for any potential side effects that might occur? Isn't Biden just shifting liability onto private business owners? Check out how Mike Lindell, CEO of MyPillow, responded.
Well, I had a lot of my liberal employees said, they're going, "What is this?" And I said, he's actually, the horrific stuff that came out of his mouth for our country yesterday is actually waking up more and more people, Steve. It's waking up more and more people. No one's going to do this. I mean, this is just, it's almost unbelievable. This is an Orwellian thing. It's 1984. If you think my pillow, with our 2,700 employees, they're going to force people to get vaccinations or take a test every other day or every week. Here's the nonsensical thing too. Who decides? Once a week. Who decides 100 employees? Why not 50? Why not 0? Why not 200? I mean, where do they come up with this garbage?
Gotta love Mike. And so many other business owners are publicly speaking out. Billionaire entrepreneur Grant Cardone tweeted, "As an employer, I will not mandate the vaccine. One, I don't know anything about the safety of the vaccine. And two, I will not infringe on your freedoms, liberties, or the right to choose what is best for your health and spiritual beliefs. Send resumes to careers@grantcardone.com." Even the NBA won't be requiring vaccines for its players after the union refused to budge. And it's just one of many unions pushing back across the nation. In New York, a federal judge blocked mandates for medical workers after a group of workers sued, and countless other class action lawsuits are already underway. And that's if the mandates even make it past the Supreme Court, which constitutional lawyer Alan Dershowitz says is unlikely. But even if they do, freedom-loving business owners will still find a way to get around it. Here's what one business owner did. "Just laid off 13 vaccinated employees to get my count down to 99. Much easier than I thought." Now, here's the thing. Although I find this story pretty funny, in no way am I suggesting that folks who did get the jab should get fired. That'd be just as bad as Biden's mandates. But the story illustrates a really important principle. If you surrender your autonomy to the government in exchange for safety and then demand that they enforce rules and punishments upon those who don't comply, sooner or later those rules and punishments are going to come back on you. History has shown this time and again. Now, if you're thinking that, well, it's great to see so many companies standing up, but what about me? I'm going to lose my job. Look, I know it's really tough at the moment. This truly isn't easy. But as more and more companies bow down to tyranny, their best staff and customers are going to leave, and they're going to be in a really bad situation. And sooner or later, they'll come begging to hire you back. But by then, you'll already be working for a patriot-owned company that will never rob you of your medical freedom. There are already job boards popping up all over the place, and it's only going to grow. This mandate is truly sifting the wheat from the chaff, and we're quickly learning which companies we're never going to support again. So I urge you, please stay positive and stay strong. And if you think about it, how long can the mandates continue when the entire COVID narrative is falling apart at the seams? It's even gotten to the point that CNN, yes, CNN is questioning it. Take a look.
Come as the information from the CDC tonight is turning crucial things we were told about COVID upside down. The CDC revealing tonight that 74% of COVID cases in Barnstable County, Massachusetts, home to Provincetown, where there was a recent outbreak, were found in people who were fully vaccinated. And they say now that the vaccinated are just as likely to spread the virus as those who are not vaccinated. And that, of course, is contrary to what was widely known.
The narrative isn't just collapsing. It's becoming a complete joke. Check out this guy who showed up to a school board meeting in a beekeeper suit because he has a 0.001% chance of getting stung by a bee. Watch this.
My name is Eric Soto, and I had a 0.00001 chance of being stung by a bee today.
Even pop star Nicki Minaj is exposing the media's lies and encouraging her fans, mostly kids and teenagers, to pray about the decision to get the jab instead of being bullied. She tweeted out, "My cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married, and now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied." Minaj is now being attacked from all angles, and the legacy media has gone into meltdown.
Rapper Nicki Minaj says that her cousin's friend, and she put this on social media, she has 22 million followers. She said he has swollen testicles after taking the vaccine.
People like Nicki Minaj, I have to say this. For you to use your platform to put people in the position of dying.
Who knew testicle inflation was a side effect of COVID? The question isn't, did you get a vaccine recently? It's, what have you been doing to your balls?
According to her tweets, the media has been broadcasting lie after lie about Minaj, and it's all playing out in front of her 22 million Twitter followers. It's leading them to question not only the COVID narrative, but also the reliability of the media. Her fans are being shown the other side of the story, and she's giving them the chance to make their own choice. And everyone deserves that choice. And think about it. How many celebrities who were pressured into spreading the official narrative back in 2020 are going to start speaking up? Back at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of them thought they were doing something good. But how many of them still feel that way? Knowingly spreading propaganda that threatens people's freedom and even their lives is a whole different ballgame. And the more folks realize the evil nature of what we're experiencing, the more they're going to push back. Now think about it. Who'd have thought even 6 months ago that we'd be hearing entire stadiums of college students singing F. Joe Biden? I mean, American colleges are the epicenter of Marxist indoctrination. Who'd have thought we'd see the same kinds of chants on the liberal streets of New York City, the Democrat Capitol, or at a Major League Baseball game? And have you ever seen a presidential motorcade receiving nothing but the same kinds of chants? Hearing all these folks, young and old, singing out in chorus, I can't help but think that Biden was right when he said he would unite the nation. Because nothing inspires unity more than a common enemy, right? But it isn't just here in the US this is happening. Take a look at all the patriots standing up for freedom around the world this week. Can you hear it? Freedom is echoing louder by the minute. The fear-mongering is no longer working. More and more truths coming out every single day, and folks are waking up all around us. And look, soon, more and more folks are going to start realizing that they've been lied to. And they're going to be shocked, confused, and probably frightened. So they're really going to need our support. As Americans, one of our defining qualities is that we love our neighbors. So this is our chance to prove it. Now, while we're on the topic of loving our neighbors, a video compilation of President Trump popped up this week, and I have to share it with you. No matter how much they say about him, how much they've attacked him, he was always out there caring for the people, bringing us together, and patiently waiting for us to wake up. Watch.
I love this guy right here. Yeah.
Amen.
And this includes on 9/11 when he showed up to the New York Fire Department without fanfare to honor the brave men and women who gave their lives to rescue our fellow Americans on that fateful day 20 years ago. This is what a true leader looks like. And now more than ever, people are wishing for his return. Look at this tweet from former Fox News reporter Ivory Hecker. It says, "A message I received today from a never Trumper friend." Wow. And what was the message? It said, "Words I thought I'd never say. I want Donald Trump back." I can't help but wonder how many folks are going to welcome the audit reports when they finally get announced. Anyway, it's now time to wrap up today's show. And so I want to leave you with a video that not only brought tears to my eyes, but moved me deep in my soul. Grammy Award-winning musician Victory Board was set to sing the national anthem at the NFL's season opening game in Tampa Bay. At the last minute, though, the NFL canceled her performance because she didn't get the jab, a decision she made for religious reasons. She said, "After being canceled for the NFL to perform the anthem at the season opening game because of my vaccination status, I decided to sing anyways. Except this time, not for the theatrics of a football game. This time, I sang for America, to remind her who she is, the land of the free and the home of the brave." Stop what you're doing and listen to this beautiful patriot.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the I said the land of the free and the home of the brave, the home of the brave.
When one door closes, another door opens. Patriots are standing together and uniting like never before. In this battle of good and evil, true heroes are emerging. And though we still have a tough road ahead, I truly believe that something great is awaiting us on the other side. Because remember, even in the darkest of times, there's always an upside. You just have to look for it. Take care, and God bless.